Hey folks, it's Two Sheds Cabby. It's Sunday afternoon, and we got home from church service. Well, we left church services, and we usually do the big lunch thing with my mom, but they had other plans, so we went out to a Mexican restaurant, and we just got home from that. I have this big package here. And I just figured out what it is, but I'll show you. I'm gonna go through a roll of nickels today. I don't know if I can do this or not without. There we go. I'm gonna go through some nickels today, but before I did, I want to show you this that I bought. I've been seeing it advertised. Grass-fed beef sticks. I can't wait. That's so cool. They had a big special on them, so I ordered I think 60 of them. Pretty cool. I'm looking forward to trying them. Several different flavors. Pretty neat. Okay, I'm set up and ready to go. Hopefully we'll find something good in this nickel box today. I've had so many of you guys telling me some really cool stuff you've been finding lately. It's like, I want to find some of that. I always find something, but man, it'd be cool to get a couple of silvers in one box. I've never yet found two 24Ds. It'd be fun to find that. You know, there's a lot of stuff it'd be fun to find, but let's see if we can find any of it. Well, it looks like the very first roll, I'm blessed with they took out a nickel and put a penny in for me. How nice. Well, it is a 1970 copper, so it's not a total loss. I'll just toss it back over here into my today's copper for when I'm going through pennies. And we'll have something to start with when we get the next penny box. The very second roll, I'll pop it open, and it has the color of a penny, but I guess it's a nickel, but it's just a dark nickel. That's all it is. Okay. Now I'm in the third row, and there is a 1947. But this one is the Philadelphia, and it is the most. I think it's like, not thousand, million. I think it's like 98 million. And let me weigh it. It's just your 5 grams, so that is not a counterfeit or nothing like that. So anyway, we went out to eat today because the family was doing other stuff. And we chose this Mexican restaurant. And I have been a Mexican food loving fan maybe all my life, at least 50 years, you know. And your taste buds change along the way. There's a lot of things now that I eat that I used to wouldn't eat. And I guess I was a little picky. I don't know, but I've changed a lot. And I think I'm getting to where mediocre Mexican food just doesn't do it for me like it used to. You know, plus I'm trying to eat healthier. And so when you go to a Mexican restaurant, you're going to eat some chips and salsa. And the chips, you know, has the bad seed oil in it. And you know, if you take the chips and a burrito shell, you're just getting tons and tons of carbs, and you tend to not feel good if you eat too much. And so I'm just wondering, I was telling my wife, it's like, if we go to a Mexican restaurant, I think I'm going to start looking for the dishes that are not in a burrito shell. It's difficult for me because I have been a burrito. When I was in Texas, everything I did, it's like, no, I just want burritos. Next up is a 1941. The D or S is what the ones you want here. They made 200 million of the Philadelphia. I did also find a 57 a few seconds ago. And this is the Philadelphia. It's the higher mintage one. So anyway, we're going to start trying to change up our, what's this? Well, it's a 53. D, cool. We try to eat out less anyway, but as much as we're on the run, we do find ourselves eating out, and we're going to try to just curb for so long. You know, you can get Mexican food. You can get Mexican food at a pretty reasonable price still. So that's a lot of times our first choice, but we're going to try to start altering that a little bit. Can you see that? The very next row, I come across a 1952 S. That's pretty neat. I like the S coins. This one, they only made 20 million of them. That's not a lot. That's pretty cool. 52S. Here is a picture of what we got today. It looks really good. It's a new item on the menu. We saw a lady. We were there with a couple a few weeks ago, and we saw a lady get this, and we thought, well, if we'll have to give that a try. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't like, oh my goodness, that's the best thing I've ever had. So anyway, it was. We split it, by the way, because it was huge. It was huge. So the price was fair. Oh, and here's the thing. This is another thing with me. There's some foods that I just ain't crazy about. Like we went to Olive Garden a while back, and we'll go there for lunch. It'd been 1 year since we'd been there, and we got the soup and salad, and we had a big plate of salad. Then we ordered. They've got 4 soups. See what they've got? I don't know how to pronounce them. Figoli, a minestrone, a Toscana, and a gnocchi. The Toscana is kind of like a chili. I tried it. I have tried it before, and I tried it again. It's not that good, in my opinion. You guys might love it. I don't care for it. The minestrone, I can eat it. If I go to somebody's house and they give me a bowl of it, I will eat it with pleasure. If I go to a restaurant to pay money for food, I'm not going to buy that. The fagioli, it's kind of like got pieces of pork, or what is that? I forget. Sausage. Yeah, it's got sausage in it. It's mediocre at best. And then they've got the gnocchi. It's good. It's got a really good flavor. And so we eat soup and the gnocchi, a couple bowls of that, and good to go. The others I don't care that much for, but I can eat them. I can eat them. I said all of that to say this. Sour cream makes me gag. It's like, it's so foul and disgusting. I can't stand it. And not only that, if you got a good spicy food, it dulls it down. You got to add more spice to get the spice in there. I just can't stand it. And I forgot to tell them not to put it in the burrito. So we had to cut open the burrito and dig it all out and give to my wife. And what little specks was left, I literally drowned it in salsa, which I love salsa anyway. But yeah, that in my mind, I'm always, when I go to a Mexican restaurant, does it come with sour cream? Put it on the side. My wife loves it. It's just so foul. I can't stand to smell it. We was at a table. My mom made some food several weeks ago, or somebody made the food and brought it. And my brother's daughter came, and she sat next to me, and she got this bowl of food, and it had to be at least half sour cream. I had to get up and leave. I said, I can't sit by you. It's so disgusting. Oh, here's a lovely nickel. Oh my goodness. Well, that's nasty looking. Wow. Shoot. Oh, anyway, I'm sure some of you guys are like, oh, I like sour cream. I just can't handle it. Oh. But the funny thing is, if you make a dip out of it, if you put the powder and the stuff in there and let it sit long enough and absorb that flavor into the sour cream, so that when you pop it open, I don't have that sour cream hit me in the nostril, I can eat that. I know it seems weird, but it's just that initial, we were years ago going across Lake Erie in Canada, and something had happened for several miles that killed the fish. There was like millions of little fish piled up, lined up along the shore of the lake. And let me tell you, millions of dead fish don't smell good. I'm not sure that was as bad as sour cream. It probably was. Oh, when I was in Jamaica, most everything they served me, but they served a dish they called saltfish, and it smelled just like those dead fish in Canada at Lake Erie. And I said, I apologize, I can't eat that. And they're like, that's okay, we understand. I tried to eat, whatever they fixed me, but I just couldn't do it. I believe I'm in like the 13th row, and we come to a 49, and we are looking for the S. That is just 9 million made of that one. That'd be cool. It's a D. Not too bad. There's just 36 million made of that one. So that's still pretty cool. I found a couple more from the 50s as well. I was thinking about my trip to Jamaica. I went out there with a preacher friend of mine, and we stayed with a elderly couple that their son lived a little ways away. He was the preacher at the little congregation that we were attending, and the town we stayed in was Savannah Lamar. Oh, I just absolutely loved it. They could tell how much I enjoyed it. They tried and tried and tried to get me to come home and pack up my family and move back. I was tempted, but it didn't happen. The little couple miles away was where the little church building was. It was in a place called Cave. And we toured the island while we was there. We went to services a couple of times in Montego Bay. That was really cool. Hey, the next row, I come to a 51, and this one, again, we're looking for the S. If it's the S, it's only 7 million of those made, which is really cool. But even the Philadelphia and the Denver both only have 20-something million. So this is a low mintage coin, any way you look at it. This one is the Philadelphia. I think it's like 28 or 29 million. It's the most of the three, but that's still very low mintage. That's a good coin. In Jamaica, we ate a lot of boiled banana. I'm not thrilled about boiled banana, but there's not much flavor, so you can't say it's disgusting because it don't have much flavor. If you're all about texture, it's a weird texture, but there's really not much flavor. We had fried, banana a time or two. I liked it considerably better than the boiled. And I guess my favorite food that we ate there would be, there's all over the island, there's these little like barbecue pit places where they call it jerk pork. And you'd buy a pound or 2 pounds or whatever of jerk pork. Man, that stuff was fantastic. But you got to be careful. In almost all the dishes in Jamaica, whether it's fish or chicken or pork, they're just filled with sharp, pointy shards of bone where they just grind it in. So you don't just grab a mouthful and start chomping away. You got to feel around what you got in your mouth before you start chomping, because it'll get you. And the preacher that we met in Montego Bay, we went out one night, and several of us wanted to find some like a Kentucky Fried Chicken or something, he wouldn't have he can't stand American food. He just wants to eat, the Jamaican. So that's what we did, and we fought with the bones. 16th row, and we come to 1940. The D and S are the lower mintages. And this one is the higher mintage, Philadelphia. Oh, after 4 more rows, after my 20th row, I'm going to go sit in the den and hang out with my wife a little bit. But we'll get through a few more rows. I may find nothing. So far, we haven't found anything like fantastic yet, but hopefully something will show up. A couple of low mintage nickels. Hey, in the 18th row, I found a 2024 P. That's pretty cool. I think that's the third Philadelphia one I have found now. I'd like to find more of the Denver, but I'll take these. That's pretty neat. Now the 19th row, and we come to another 1949, and again, we're hoping for the S. And we get the D. We get the 49D. I've got a funny little, almost sad story. Y'all have probably seen me several times show that I have these coin bags, and this is what I carry my coins in to take back to the banks. I've got 5 or 6 of them, whatever. And about a year ago, I asked my mom, because she's a seamstress, I said, do you think you could make me a couple more of those? And she was like, oh yeah, I'm sure I could. And she says, let me have one to use for the sizing and that sort of thing. So there was one back, oh my goodness, the first color bubble jet printer I ever owned was a Canon. And you could take the individual colors out and you could buy bottles of ink and replace them. And it was so much cheaper than replacing the cartridges. And that's what I did. And I had a coin bag that I used every single time. And I would sit these cartridges on to refill them. And I'd get drops of all these colored ink on it, and it became a really cool looking, colorful coin bag. And I don't know why, it was just the first one I came to. So I handed her that one to use to measure it, to know what size to make. And that was about a year ago. And I had forgotten all about it. Let me get to the next row. This is the 20th row, and I noticed back there's a penny. So anyway, just a week ago, this is kind of ironic, but just about a week ago, I asked my wife, have you seen my colorful bank bag? I haven't found it. I haven't seen it in a long time. She was like, I don't know where it is. And I thought, well, it'll show up. It's around here somewhere. And then I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, I was at my mom's house, and she has gotten on this kick lately of making pot holders. And she'll make with blue jeans, and she'll cut the back pocket out so that you can even have a handle to put your hand in for the pot holder. And they're nice. She gave us a few. And they're pretty cool, blue jean pot holders. And I was over there, and she says, let me show you what I did. And she pulled out, and there was a pot holder with my colorful pack. I said, Mom, you cut up my coin bag. She goes, what? I said, yeah, you cut up my coin bag. Oh my goodness, she felt terrible. And I needed to downplay that, because when I first saw it, I was a little bit frustrated, but it's like, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. So I downplayed it, and I told her it's great. It looks good. And so I didn't want her crying because she cut up my coin bag, because I can live without it. But she gave us the pot holder, and so here it is. This used to be my coin bag. So I will have that story, I guess, from now on, of my colorful coin bag. Oh, Mom. She just completely forgot or something. I don't know. Some story got mixed up somewhere. 1957 there. I certainly didn't want her to cry over a coin bag. Like, oh, I wish I hadn't given you my favorite one. Is that What do we have here? Oh, it's a 3. When I just glanced at it and I thought I had me another one. This is the 20th roll, so after this roll, I'm gonna stop for a bit, and I won't keep the camera rolling, so I'll just so you won't even know the difference, except that I'll tell you. Wouldn't that be terrible? You're sitting there like we're waiting for the guy to get back from hanging out with his wife. I could have water running or something. Well, I'm back to my nickels for a little while, and this is the first row in the second half of the box. And looky here, a 2024D. Cool beans. That was fun to find. Now the fifth row in the second half, and somewhere down in here is a penny. my third penny already. No dimes yet. Well, will we find two 24Ds in this box? I hope so. Most of y'all probably know that I used to live in North Carolina. It's been quite a few years now. There's a 58 Denver. I've also found a few other 50s. Oh, and I've also found my Canadian. What is that? 86. All right, so I lived in North Carolina, and I lived in, my address was Kings Mountain, North Carolina. The town is in North Carolina. The mountain is in South Carolina. That's how close I lived to South Carolina. But I lived on a little 8-acre farm, and actually, I lived slightly closer to Shelby, North Carolina. But, oh, there's my penny. But the 82, we'll have to weigh that guy. I got mail, so from Kings Mountain Post Office. That's copper. That's good. So anyway, Kings Mountain, North Carolina. And if you get out on the highway, main highway out in front of it is 74. And that led all the way to Charlotte. But before you get to Charlotte was a town called Gastonia. I heard one person in that area, maybe more than one, that said that Gastonia was the armpit of North Carolina. I didn't think it was that bad, but that's just what I've heard a few people say. Anyway, I was on my way home from Charlotte. Charlotte was about 45 minutes away. And I had to use the gentleman's room. And I stopped in at a Hardee's on my way home. Let me get to the next row. Okay, next row. So I stopped in at this Hardee's on my way home from Charlotte, North Carolina. And I won't go into detail, but it wasn't just a bathroom visit where I stood there, okay? And I stepped in the gentleman room's door, and it was foul, beyond foul. Above the toilet. Oh, my goodness. It was like Superman had run in there in an emergency and leaned over and let go, and there's explosion above the toilet that spread out half of the wall. Imagine taking feces and loading it in a bazooka and shooting it at the wall above the toilet. It was disgusting. And it went halfway. You in the center you had your point of origin, and then it just spread out to like half of the wall. And it's like, no, I don't think I'll go here. And I left. And I drove past this Hardee's a week later in Gastonia, North Carolina, and the restaurant was shut down. I I just imagined the manager saying, Bobby, get in there and clean that up. And they're like, I quit. Nobody would clean it up, and they shut the place down. I don't know that's what it was, but that's what I envisioned. Oh, that was terrible. It was really cool going up to Kings Mountain there in South Carolina. And you go up to the top, and they had a mile path around the top of it. Really cool. It was a really, really neat hike, whatever you call it. And this mountain, it was a Revolutionary War battle site. Pretty cool place. Well, I think this is the eighth row, I guess, something like that in the second half. And here is another 2024P. I have now reached the point, this is the most 2024s I've gotten in one box. That's 3. 2 of them are P. I have gotten a 24D and a P in a box before. Now I have moved up to I've gotten 3 24s in one box. Yeehaw. This is the very next row. I just I just thought of since I'm on this type of story, Walter Matthau went on to the Johnny Carson show a long time ago, and he hadn't even sat down yet, and he was just greeting everybody, and he said, my wife told me not to tell any toilet jokes. And it was, but so-and-so out here just told me one. He goes, I'll try to clean it up. And so he was going to tell one anyway. There's these 3 senior gentlemen living in a convalescent home. And they're just sitting around. And the first one says, guys, I tell you, I'd just love it if just once again in my life, I could have just a good, full 19, like a 20-year-old's urine. Just not dribble, 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 drip, drip, drip. Just have a real gushing, full flow pee. And the second guy goes, oh, I hear you. He goes, if I could just do a full, solid number 2 instead of pushing, and feeling terrible one day and then it being all liquid the next day. As if I could just do a real, regular number 2. That'd be amazing. And the third guy goes, well, I got to tell you, boys, it's 7 o'clock every morning. He goes, I have a urine. He goes, it's like, like a waterfall. He goes, it's just unbelievable. Next row. Okay, the next row. He goes, and then at about 7:35, he goes, I have number 2, like you wouldn't imagine. It's just full, complete belly emptying, complete number 2. And the 2 guys are looking at him and like, what in the world are you complaining about then? He goes, well, because I don't get out of bed till 9 o'clock. Oh boy. Come on. Our little farm in North Carolina was a pretty neat place, but I wish that I had taken more advantage of things. We struggled because after we got moved in there, the company I worked for went out of business, and we struggled and struggled, just trying to survive. And then we got into fostering, and with the type of fostering I did, it was pretty intense, but it paid pretty good, but it took everything. 10 rows left in the box, and we come to a 2009D. How about that? That's pretty neat. some 2024s, and a 2009. I also found another 50s. I have had, even though I have said that there's a few people telling me they're finding some pretty cool stuff, like several 2024 Ds in a box, I've also had several people saying they're definitely noticing a big drop in the good older collectible coins, nickels, just considerably. I can't tell what that is. Okay. Yeah, a big decline. Second to the last row, second to the last row, I find my fourth penny. This one again is copper. At least three of them were copper. That's good. But not a ton of really great ones. I did get 3 24s and an 09. That's really cool. Didn't get my silver yet. I mean, unless the last row has one. But you know, as I put away my rolls, I was putting them away the other day, and I realized, hold on, let me get to the next row. Okay, you know, I keep all of them from 38 up to 59, and I'll roll them up, you know, like the roll of the 50s, roll of the 40s, and then if I have enough for 38, 39, I'll roll them up. And I realized in one of my boxes, you know, like this, I had 53 rolls. And so I put that box away and I started another, and I've got like 3 or 4 rolls in there. So I am getting, you know, another 2024 in the last row. That's cool. 3 of them have been P, but that's still fun finding those. That's 4 2024s in this box. That's most definitely the best I've ever done. That's pretty cool. But I'm still finding, you know, some of the older coins, but I'm not getting nearly as much silver. And a few of you guys are telling me there's a 53 Philadelphia. So I guess it's mixed. A couple of you guys are telling me you're finding some pretty good stuff, and then a few of you are saying you're seeing way less of the really good old coins. Oh my, another 2009. Well, this box, I'm going to have to say, is pretty good. We got 4 2024s and 2 2009s. That's actually quite good. They're not the old ones, but that's some cool finds there. Both of the 09s were D this time. That's really neat. So even I wish I'd have gotten my silver, but that's pretty nifty. For sure. And then 2 of them was in the last row. How about that? Well, I guess I'll get those guys put in. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, he's nice, but not that nice. I'll get those guys put away in 2x2s. And we'll see you next time.